What if a young Corsican boy could shake the world? This was the story of Napoleon Bonaparte. Born in 1769, Napoleon was the second of 8 children in the Bonaparte family. Corsica, where he was born, was a rugged island newly acquired by France. His family, though of minor nobility, was far from wealthy. But Napoleon's future was not to be confined to this small Mediterranean island. At the tender age of 9, he was sent to the mainland for his education. In the elite Brienne Military Academy, Napoleon was an outsider, a Corsican among the French, mocked for his provincial accent and lack of aristocratic pedigree. Yet it was here that the young Napoleon developed his voracious appetite for knowledge, devouring books on history, philosophy, and the military. His academic prowess earned him a place at the prestigious École Militaire in Paris. At just 16, Napoleon graduated early, following the death of his father. He was commissioned as a second lieutenant in an artillery regiment, marking the beginning of his military career. The French Revolution erupted just a few years later. Amid the turmoil, Napoleon's skills as a military strategist quickly became evident. He was fearless, innovative, and ambitious. The young Corsican rapidly ascended through the ranks, gaining a reputation as a hero of the Republic. His first significant victory was at the Siege of Toulon, where he ousted British forces from a key French port. For this, he was promoted to brigadier general at just 24. Napoleon's star continued to rise. He astutely navigated the political landscape of the revolution, aligning himself with those in power. His military victories brought him fame and influence. His charisma, intelligence, and strategic brilliance set him apart. But beneath the accolades, there was an unquenchable thirst for power and a vision to reshape France. This young Corsican, fueled by ambition, was just getting started. One could argue that Napoleon's story is a testament to the power of ambition and the relentless pursuit of one's goals. His early life and military career set the stage for his future as a ruler, a reformer, and an icon of history. A genius in warfare, Napoleon introduced strategies that still echo in military schools today. An astute observer of the battlefield, Napoleon Bonaparte revolutionized the art of war with his innovative military tactics. He was a master of rapid, decisive movements, often employing the strategy of divide and conquer. This involved splitting his armies to confuse and disorient his enemies, only to unite his forces swiftly for a crushing blow. One of Napoleon's most notable campaigns was the Italian campaign. As a young general in his mid-20s, he led the French army against the First Coalition, composed of Austrian and Sardinian forces. Despite being heavily outnumbered, Napoleon's strategic genius shone through. He divided the enemy armies, defeated them in detail, and within a year, forced Austria to sue for peace. This victory not only established France as a dominant power in Europe, but also cemented Napoleon's reputation as a military maestro. Then there was the Egyptian campaign, a grand yet ill-fated expedition. Napoleon sought to disrupt British trade routes and establish a French presence in the Middle East. Though his forces achieved initial victories, the campaign was ultimately a strategic failure. The British fleet under Admiral Nelson destroyed the French navy at the Battle of the Nile, stranding Napoleon's army in Egypt. Yet, even in defeat, Napoleon managed to spin the campaign, using his control of information to portray it as a romantic adventure filled with scientific discovery. But let's not forget that war, in all its forms, is a brutal business. Napoleon's campaigns, while strategic masterpieces, were often marked by high casualties. His pursuit of victory was relentless and at times ruthless. His strategies, while innovative, were not without their costs. His campaigns, though brutal, carved a path for his ascent to power. Napoleon's military genius, his ability to turn defeat into victory, and his relentless pursuit of power all played a key role in his rise from a Corsican outsider to the Emperor of the French. Thus, while we marvel at his strategic acumen, we should not forget the human toll that his campaigns exacted. In a historic moment, Napoleon crowned himself emperor, a title not seen in France since the Roman times. This audacious move was not a spur-of-the-moment decision. Instead, it was the culmination of an intricate political dance that saw Napoleon consolidating his power and influence. The French Revolution had left a power vacuum, and Napoleon, with his military prowess and charisma, was keen to step in. The crowning took place on December 2, 1804, at the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris. But Napoleon didn't let Pope Pius VII, who had traveled all the way from Rome, place the crown on his head. In a move that shocked the assembly, he took the crown from the Pope's hands and placed it on his own head, symbolically asserting his authority over the Church. This self-coronation was a game-changer, not just for France, but for all of Europe. It marked the start of a new era, the Napoleonic era, which saw significant changes in the political landscape of the continent. Napoleon's influence wasn't just on the battlefield, it seeped into the very laws that govern us. This brings us to one of the most enduring aspects of his rule, the Napoleonic Code. Napoleon played a critical role in its creation, a legal framework that reformed the French legal system and had far-reaching impact beyond France's borders. The Napoleonic Code, or Code Civil, as it was originally named, was introduced in the early 19th century. It was a comprehensive set of civil laws that addressed issues of property, family, and individual rights. One of its groundbreaking principles was equality before the law, discarding the old regime's privileges based on birth. It also established the concept of freedom of contract, allowing individuals to negotiate their own terms without state interference. These principles were revolutionary for their time and have influenced legal systems worldwide. So it's safe to say, Napoleon's legacy isn't confined to history books or battlefields. Through the Napoleonic Code, Napoleon's influence extended far beyond his reign. Even the greatest of empires fall. For Napoleon, it was no different. The seeds of Napoleon's downfall were sown in the snows of Russia, where his grand army was decimated, beginning a chain of defeats that would see his empire crumble. The coalition of European powers, weary of Napoleon's ambitions, united against him, leading to his abdication in April of 1814. Exiled to the island of Elba, Napoleon was far from defeated. In a move as audacious as it was desperate, he escaped, returning to France for a period known as the 100 Days. Yet this was a fleeting victory. The Battle of Waterloo loomed on the horizon, a confrontation that would mark the end of Napoleon's rule. In the end, Napoleon was exiled again, this time to the remote island of St. Helena. There, far from the grandeur of his empire, he lived out the rest of his days. Napoleon's fall from power was as dramatic as his rise. The Battle of Waterloo, a turning point in European history, and the final chapter in Napoleon's military career. On June 18, 1815, Napoleon Bonaparte, the self-proclaimed Emperor of the French, squared off against the armies of the Seventh Coalition, led by the Duke of Wellington and Gebhard Leberecht von Blücher. Waterloo was more than just a battle. It was a face-off between the old and the new, a struggle between the established European order and the revolutionary ideals embodied by Napoleon. Despite his tactical genius and formidable Grande Armée, Napoleon met his match. The coalition forces proved too powerful, too resilient. By the end of the day, the once invincible emperor was in full retreat. The battle was brutal, the losses immense, the outcome decisive. Napoleon's dream of a united Europe under French rule was shattered. Waterloo marked the end of Napoleon's reign, but not the end of his impact. Despite his defeat, Napoleon's legacy continues to shape the world today. His influence seeped far beyond the borders of France, reshaping the entire European continent. His reforms, some positive, others controversial, left an indelible imprint on the annals of history. Napoleon's legal reform, the Napoleonic Code, remains one of his most enduring legacies. This comprehensive legal framework, which prioritized clear written laws and equality before the law, influenced numerous modern legal systems across the globe. It was a beacon of civil rights in an era when such concepts were just beginning to take root. But Napoleon's impact wasn't limited to law. He revolutionized the military, not only with his innovative strategies but also through the introduction of meritocracy. He promoted officers based on their abilities rather than their lineage, a move that stirred a wave of change in military structures worldwide. His administrative reforms, too, had far-reaching effects. The introduction of a centralized, efficient bureaucracy, the establishment of the Bank of France, and the modernization of education are all hallmarks of his rule. Despite the turbulence of his reign, these reforms brought about a level of stability and progress that France hadn't seen before. However, Napoleon's legacy isn't without controversy. His imperial ambitions led to widespread warfare and the loss of countless lives. His invasion of Russia, his suppression of rebellions, and the reinstatement of slavery in French colonies are dark chapters that cannot be ignored. Yet, it's crucial to remember that history is seldom black and white. Napoleon's reign was a complex tapestry of triumphs and failures, of enlightenment and despotism. His legacy is a testament to this complexity, a blend of revolutionary reforms and imperial excesses. In the end, Napoleon's impact cannot be confined to a single narrative. His influence continues to resonate, shaping the course of history long after his fall. His story is a reminder of the power of individuals to change the world, for better or for worse. Napoleon Bonaparte, a name etched in history, continues to provoke thought, debate, and fascination.